John and Sarah were in their cozy apartment, preparing for a quiet dinner. The aroma of baked lasagna filled the air as Sarah poured 2 glasses of wine. She loved these peaceful moments, feeling safe and connected with a man she thought she knew so well. "Pass me the salt, Anna," John said casually, without even looking up from the table. The words hung in the air for a moment too long. Sarah froze, her hand tightening around the salt shaker. "What did you just call me?" Realizing his mistake, John's eyes widened. He chuckled nervously. "Oh, I didn't. It was a slip. You know how my brain mixes things up sometimes." But Sarah wasn't laughing. "Who's Anna?" she asked, her voice low and deliberate. John fidgeted in his seat. "Nobody. Just a name I must have heard somewhere. Don't overthink it." He tried to reach for her hand, but she pulled away. Dinner continued in uneasy silence. Sarah's mind spun with questions. Why did that name feel familiar? And why did John seem so unsettled? She decided not to press further, but her curiosity was ignited. Later that evening, when John was in the shower, Sarah hesitated for a moment before picking up his phone from the coffee table. She scrolled through his contacts and messages, half expecting to find nothing. But there it was, a contact labeled Anna with a string of recent texts. Her heart pounded as she opened the conversation. The messages were mundane, mostly about meeting up and casual updates, but the familiarity in their tone sent a shiver down her spine. Sarah locked the phone and placed it back where she found it. She felt a pit forming in her stomach. Who was this woman, and why had John lied? As she lay in bed that night, Sarah struggled to act normal. John's breathing was steady beside her, but she couldn't shake the feeling that this small mistake was only the beginning of something much bigger. The next morning, Sarah woke up early, her mind still racing from the night before. John was still asleep, his face peaceful and oblivious. She stared at him, trying to reconcile the man she loved with the doubts growing in her heart. Later, as John left for work, Sarah decided to dig deeper. She started by looking through social media, typing Anna alongside John's last name. Nothing suspicious came up, just random people with no clear connection to him. Still, she couldn't let go of her nagging feeling. By mid-afternoon, her phone buzzed. A text message appeared from an unknown number. "You don't know me, but we need to talk. It's about John. Meet me at the River Cafe at 5 p.m. Anna." Sarah's breath caught. Her fingers trembled as she read the message again. Was this the Anna from John's phone? Why was she reaching out? For the next few hours, Sarah debated whether she should go. What if it was a prank? Or worse, a trap? But curiosity burned stronger than fear. By 4:45, she was sitting in her car, staring at the entrance of the cafe. At 5 p.m. sharp, Sarah walked inside. The place was cozy and busy, filled with the hum of conversations and clinking cups. A woman in her late 20s, with long brown hair and a nervous expression, waved at her from a corner booth. "Sarah?" the woman asked as she approached. "Yes," Sarah replied, sitting across from her. "You must be Anna." Anna nodded, looking hesitant. "Thank you for coming. I know this is strange, but you need to hear this. I think John's been hiding things from both of us." "What do you mean, both of us?" Sarah's voice was sharp. Anna slid her phone across the table. On the screen was a series of photos. Her and John smiling together, standing close. The timestamps showed these weren't old pictures. They were from just 3 months ago. "He told me he was single," Anna said quietly. "We were seeing each other for months until he suddenly stopped answering my calls. I didn't know about you until I saw a picture of you two on social media." Sarah's chest tightened. The betrayal felt sharp and suffocating. "Are you saying he's been cheating?" "I don't know what he told you, but something doesn't add up," Anna said, her voice trembling. He's not who you think he is. That evening, Sarah couldn't look John in the eye. She held her phone tightly. Anna's words replaying in her head. Was her whole relationship built on lies? Everything okay? John asked, sensing her tension. Fine, Sarah replied coldly, walking past him into the bedroom. She needed time to think. The next morning, she made a decision. If John wouldn't be honest, she would find out the truth herself. Sarah called Anna and asked her to meet again. This time, she wanted details, everything Anna knew about John. At the cafe, Anna arrived with a folder in hand. I wasn't sure if you'd believe me, she said, sliding the folder towards Sarah. Inside were more photos, screenshots of text messages, and even a receipt for a weekend getaway. Sarah's hands shook as she went through the evidence. There was no denying it now. John had been leading a double life. But why? I ended things because I felt something was off, Anna admitted. He was always secretive, and I started to wonder if he had someone else. I guess now I know. Sarah felt a mix of anger and humiliation. How could she have missed the signs? But deep down, she knew this wasn't over. She needed to confront John, no matter how painful it would be. That night, she waited for him to come home. When he walked through the door, Sarah was sitting at the kitchen table, the folder in front of her. We need to talk, she said firmly. John's face paled as his eyes fell on the folder. Where did you get that? That doesn't matter, Sarah snapped. What matters is the truth. Who is Anna? And why have you been lying to me? John opened his mouth to speak, but no words came out. For the first time, Sarah saw fear in his eyes. John leaned against the wall, rubbing his temples. Sarah, I can explain. Then start, she replied sharply. No more lies. I need the truth. He sighed deeply, as if weighing whether to open a door that could never be closed again. Anna is someone I used to know. Someone from my past. What kind of past? Friends? Lovers? Sarah pressed, refusing to let him evade the question. She was my fiancée, he admitted finally. Before I met you. The room seemed to shrink. Sarah stared at him, trying to process his words. Your fiancé? Why didn't you ever tell me? I didn't think it mattered, John said, his voice defensive now. She was a part of my life years ago, and when we broke up, I wanted to leave it all behind. But then, a few months ago, she reached out, and you just decided to meet her, without telling me. Sarah's voice was shaking. Did you think I wouldn't find out? John hesitated. I thought it was harmless. She was going through a tough time, and I felt guilty. But it wasn't what you're thinking. I didn't cheat on you. You expect me to believe that. Sarah shot back, her anger now fully unleashed. I've seen the texts, John. I've seen the photos. You were lying to me the whole time. I didn't want to hurt you, he said quietly. I handled it wrong, I know that. But Sarah, you're the one I want to be with. Anna, she's just a mistake I made by reopening old wounds. Tears welled in Sarah's eyes, but she refused to let them fall. How do I trust anything you say now? How do I believe that this is the whole story? John looked at her, his own eyes full of regret. Because it's the truth. I'll prove it to you. Whatever you need, I'll do it. For the next few days, Sarah tried to navigate her swirling emotions. John appeared to be on his best behavior, extra attentive and unusually open about his day-to-day activities. But Sarah's trust, once solid, now felt like sand slipping through her fingers. Determined to verify his claims, Sarah decided to dig further. Late one night, while John slept, she revisited the folder Anna had given her. Among the photos and screenshots was something she hadn't noticed before, a small, folded piece of paper tucked at the back. Unfolding it, she found an address scribbled in hasty handwriting. Her heart raced. She debated for hours whether to visit. but curiosity burned stronger than her fear. The next morning, with John at work, Sarah made her way to the address. It led her to a modest suburban home. She hesitated before knocking. The door opened too.
Thank you very much for watching. Did you like this story? Like, subscribe, and write a comment about your opinion.